So, my name is Emily Elliott, and I'm a reporter for East Lansing Info who has been covering school board related issues since early April. I have with me today Dr. Jane Turner, a local pediatrician and former school board trustee, and we are interviewing Ms. Monica Fink, one of the candidates for school board. So, without any further ado, I'll jump in and ask our first question. If you were elected to the school board, you'll have to deal with a major public health crisis. Talk about how you see yourself handling this as a board member in terms of decision making.
So there's no doubt about the fact that this pandemic has put all of us in a bit of a tailspin. My recommendation would be to continue online learning until we can have the most robust safety protocols, and then at which point we should bring in our most underrepresented students, those students that need additional help to be able to strive to do the best that they can during this time. So all of those students who need mental health help may not have safety at home. These are the students that need to be brought in first once we return to online schooling, at which point I think that it should be a hybrid model. Those families that don't feel safe to return in person can then remain at home online.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Next question is something that you've written about in your responses to questions from Eli, but we'll give you a chance to elaborate. And that is, the district has identified equity and inclusion as an important goal and has pursued this by developing new handbook policies and making plans to make the faculty better represent the diversity of the student body. Talk about how you see this issue.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion is a very big undertaking, and it is an undertaking that needs to be done aggressively, proactively, mindfully, and targeted. We have to do this work to ensure that all of our children and our staff members feel welcome in our schools, because if they don't feel welcome, they will not thrive.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you. And what steps would you take to make students feel welcome or advocate for as a trustee?
It would be a continuation of the work that I've been doing as the president of the equity team at Marble.
Mm-hmm.
So we do need to get more diverse hiring. It is important that our students are able to see themselves reflected in those that are in positions of authority. That will go a long way to bridging the gap that is presented. Also, there's a lot to be said for the fact that when we step back and look at our authority figures and the people making decisions for us, it's not really diverse, and it's kind of hard to see how our voices are being captured when we are not represented.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Our next question is, how do you understand the role of a trustee in relationship to the district administration? What do you see as your chief responsibilities in this area?
I think the chief responsibility of a trustee on the Board of Education is to be that voice that advocates for everyone within the district. And in doing such, again, it takes us back to, we have to be represented in these areas of authority to make sure that our voices are being heard, so that the issues that we are facing are brought up where needed.
Can you elaborate a little bit more on the relationship between, say, the board and the administration?
So the board and the administration, I believe, are to work for our families within the community. So what we are hearing out of the families is something that we need to take into consideration. We cannot move forward with a one-size-fits-all program, I guess, because it does not fit all. So we have to be able to take these concerns, joys, disappointments. We have to be able to take all of that in and then advocate and implement accordingly. And that is the role of a trustee, I believe.
Okay, well, that leads me to our next question is about getting up to speed or learning the various roles of the trustee. As a trustee, you'll have to quickly learn a new set of laws and policies and protocols. How will you approach bringing yourself up to speed?
I am a researcher. That is what I do. So I would tackle it as I would with anything else, is to be as informed as possible before coming to a decision. But I do think that it is imperative that we are able to come to a decision with the understanding that not everyone is going to agree with what we decide on, but we have to be able to come to a decision, stand on that decision, take input where needed, and adjust where possible. But we have to be able to be a decisive leader. We don't have the time with everything that's going on to be a flimsy leader.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
That does make sense. When I became a trustee quite a while ago, it was 2004, I think is when I joined the board. I was able to take some classes, some trainings offered by the Michigan Association of School Boards. Is that something that would be of interest to you?
Absolutely. I believe that no matter what educational background we have, we can always improve. So even if we are the best, there's still always room for improvement. So I would love to take any classes or trainings to add to my arsenal of tools to help make the school district better.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you. Our next question is, what programs at East Lansing Public Schools, educational or otherwise, would you like to see the district devote more resources to, and how might you make that happen?
I've been thinking about this one quite a bit. I would like to see more diverse programming, more options available to all of our students, not just targeted programming, so that we can ensure that our children are ready to be knowledgeable and engaged in being global citizens. What I would propose to fund this would be that we think outside of the box and we seek alternative funding or partnerships with agencies like MSU. They have a phenomenal outreach department, and that would remove some of the barriers of funding that we may be restricted with from local, state, and government or federal government.
Can you elaborate what you mean by diverse programming? Are you talking in terms of in-school curriculum or extracurriculars? And could you give an example?
I'm speaking about a little bit of both. Mm-hmm. So I would like to see a more fleshed out academic programming, more STEM and STEAM, more foreign languages provided, more more outside of the box programming, like robotics. I think that we should have these types of activities widely available to all of our students, and not just an extracurricular, which would provide a barrier to some families that might not be able to attend. But if we offer this across the board to all of our students, then as the student decides that they want to attend it or try it, they can. They don't have to face money as a barrier or maybe even transportation. It will just be there for anyone to tap into.
Thank you.
Thank you. And our last question is about engaging with parents. How would you like to engage with parents, including those who are uninformed or who may be informed but disagree with you?
I believe that knowledge is power. And The most important aspect of any relationship, I think, is communication. And we have to be as transparent and communicative as possible, especially now when there are so many things up in the air and so many different aspects that we have to take into consideration that are changing quite rapidly in terms of when our students need to return to school, but not just limited to that. Open transparency of communication is a must right now. I personally enjoy speaking with people to inform them of what's going on within the school district and let them know the programming that we have available. There are a lot of people that are not aware of the programs that we have. So I think that's very important and a very key issue.
Okay, thanks. Emily, how much time do we have remaining?
We have 5 minutes.
Okay, so you have time to elaborate more on anything we've already asked, or tell us if there are other things you would like the people of East Lansing, the voters of East Lansing, to know about you or about your thoughts about the schools.
Let's see. I think mental health is a big issue as well. I think that we have to come together. It has to be an entire school involvement and commitment when it comes to mental health, when it comes to diversity, equity, and inclusion. And again, back to what I said earlier, it's not a one size fits all. We really have to communicate with our families and figure out what exactly each family needs specifically so that we can target that, address that, and get that family the help that they need so that they can thrive. And everyone's needs are going to be different. So it will be a bit time consuming. It will be a lot more involved than I think what we are doing right now, but it is an absolute must, because if not, we are going to find ourselves with the kind of situation where we have students that then start developing risky behaviors or even have some complications with their health going down the line if we are not addressing this.
Okay. Is there anything else more you would like to tell us before since we have a couple of minutes? You don't have to fill it all. We have a limit on it. I just want to give you the opportunity to use this time if you would like to. Don't feel compelled to fill the time.
Okay, I think that outside of the other questionnaires I've answered, I think it's covered it all.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
You have certainly given us a lot to consider. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
No problem. Have a nice weekend.
You too. Bye.
Bye.